Hey, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to season 3, episode 3 of the Peace Podcast. Just give me freedom from being the strong one, whatever that looks like. And so this one actually came to me because I was thinking about how when I went through the throes of the situations that I've been in, whether it be abusive relationships, whether it be my single parent journey, whether it be just frustrations from life, oftentimes I would suffer in silence and then wonder why I felt like no one was there for me. I would be the one who cried in my pillow at night but was smiling in everybody's faces throughout the day, but then also feeling like no one was concerned about me, no one really saw me, no one really knew the really intensity of the situation that I was dealing with. And don't we do that often where it's like we want somebody to see us, but we don't quite really understand why we feel so disconnected from the people who are near us? And I think we all have those one or two people that we could be entirely vulnerable with, but we make choices not to be vulnerable with them because we have internalized the identity of being the strong one. And so we tell ourselves that we don't need anyone, but we wonder why we feel so disconnected. We always have been the strong one, but we wonder why everybody always seems to need us. Like, why does everybody feel the need to call us? Why does everybody feel the need to reach out to us when they need help, but yet they aren't reaching out to us when we could potentially need help? And so I think about this often because on my journey, I have been that person. I portray on the outside the image of somebody who is, has it all together and completely is emotionally intelligent and all of these things. And while I do have the knowledge, life still happens and situations still happen to us. And we can't always be the strong one because we've seen time and time again through just social media and knowing the stories of celebrities that the strong one is the one who ends up being the ones who take their own lives or suffer with depression or are self-medicating or are utilizing drugs to help them get through. And we were so shocked that that would ever happen to one of those people because in our eyes, they were always the funny one or always the strong one or always seemed to have themselves so put together. And so, as a side note, I would say if you aren't that person, but you know people who are usually the strong ones, check on those people because more often than not, they're looking for some semblance of a safe space to be vulnerable in. And oftentimes they won't seek it out themselves. I know that I didn't. I know that I wanted everybody to think that I was doing just fine, that I didn't need any help. And that made me feel good in the moment, but eventually, because you're dealing with everything on your own and you don't have the strength and capacity to hold everything together, you get tired and your muscles fatigue from trying to be the strong one all the time, and you just crumble into a ball and you don't know how to handle life. And so, if you're one of those people, think about how this could and is a pride and ego concern. Because when we're thinking about our pridefulness, when we're thinking about needing to feed the safety of our ego, saying that I can do everything on my own is saying that it's easier to shoulder it myself because then I don't have to deal with the rejection of being let down by other people. So we take on that identity, but really it's based on fear, a fear of not being able to depend on other people because perhaps in our past we haven't been able to depend on other people. A need to always be the dependable one because in our past we haven't had somebody who is the dependable one. So we want to be for other people what hasn't happened for us. But eventually that again crumbles and falls to pieces because you can't always be strong. No one is in a space where they can always be strong. So, what happens when you are consistently the strong one? Well, I'm going to do a little paradigm shift during this. I'm going to tell you what happens, and then I'm going to tell you what could happen. What happens is that you strip people from their ability to be there for you. So, when people see someone walking around strong, not needing help, never being vulnerable, then it makes them think that that person never is going to need their assistance. So, when the strong one meets the I don't want anybody to ever have to do anything alone one, then that person is going to push for you to try to let them help in spaces. And it's going to be really difficult for you to do so because you've built identity around being the strong one. And so you inadvertently strip those people from the ability to be able to be there for you. And all the while, you're building resentment that says, no one is ever there for me, but you're stripping the ability for them to be there for you. It's like you're wanting and yearning for something, but you've built up this wall between it actually happening and you keeping yourself safe. And so your protector parts say, I know this place right here is a safe space because I know I can depend on me, but it forgets that eventually you're going to be tired and you're going to need other people. And so you might have a partner who really just wants to help you do things, and you might push back on that because it feels like they're taking a piece of your identity because they want to help you. But you're stripping them from the ability to be a stand-up person in that relationship because you're not allowing them to help and assist you no matter how strong you are. And inadvertently, if you're a female, you are operating so heavily in your masculine energy that you're not allowing yourself to work and operate in your female energy, and then you're wondering why you don't feel safe and protected by your partner. And it's because you're doing too much, girl. And I know this feeling because I am this person, so I get it. And it's very hard for me to let go of the reins. It's very hard for me to just let people do a bunch of things for me, especially when I've built my identity around those things. But I also don't want to steal my partner's ability to help me and to protect me and to play the masculine role in the relationship because I have to have all of the control and be doing all of the things. The thing that I want you to remember in the paradigm shift part is that intimacy is built by sharing humanity and your weakness. So you think about the people, the best people that you've ever gotten advice from, whether it be a YouTuber, whether it be an Instagram profile, whether it be your best friend's mom, whoever it is, that person probably, I'm speculating here, but that person probably has shared a multitude of weak moments with you. And so you've built an intimacy to be able to trust that person's perspective based on the fact that they've been through some things. And I say all the time that a person who's not been through some things, where's their testimony if they haven't been through the test? And so if you think about the fact that you trying to portray the image of the strong one all the time is breaking your ability to build intimacy with people, because by being the strong one, you're also presenting this image of perfection. You're not being human. So then people aren't going to want to come to you. They're going to want to come to you when they need a strong friend, but they're not going to want to come to you when they're having a vulnerable moment and they need somebody to just sit with them, because the intimacy can't be built if you aren't being human and you aren't sharing your weaknesses. Because eventually somebody's going to feel too self-conscious to come to you because they're going to say, well, she won't understand because her life is perfect. Or she wouldn't get this because she's so strong. Or she's going to give me the advice to do something that's just be stronger. And right now I just need to be in this weak moment because that's where I need to sit to be able to get past these emotions. And so if you want to give people in your life the ability to be there for you, you have to get real human. You have to share your weaknesses, and you have to be in a space where you can build that intimacy with the people around you. The second one is you're inadvertently presenting yourself as the superior one. So when you walk around in this world as the strong one, realistically what you're telling other people is that you're superior to them because no matter what you've been through, you're the strong one who always has an answer for everything. You don't have moments of weakness because you've been through so much and you know so much, and that gives a space of superiority. It says, well, I know better than you. I'm able to maneuver this better than you. I have gone through things and come out on the other side. And so when you present yourself as the superior one, then the people around you aren't going to ever think that they can be the strong one for you, because they're always looking to you to have the strength already. They're not going to think that you need them. And the paradigm shift here is that safety happens when you can gain something from one another. Not just them gaining something from you, not just you gaining something from them, but you reciprocity happening in the relationship where you can gain from each other. And that doesn't happen if you're out here walking around in the world as if you don't need anyone because you have it all together. That feeling of superiority leaves you lonely because you feel disconnected from people, because you feel like people don't come to you and ask you if you need assistance, or ask you if you need prayer, or ask you if you need somebody to help shoulder some sort of lift that you're going through. But it's because of the way that you've presented yourself for so many years to these people that they just think, oh, well, she has it. I often used to say that about my family. Like, they just assume that I have it all together, and I feel like they have in the past. And that's because if they asked me how I was doing, I would always say, oh, I'm fine, everything's great. And I would complain about maybe relationship things, but about life in general, about parenting, about those type of things that I was literally in the depths and throes of struggling with. I would never tell them that. And then I would get frustrated because they wouldn't call and check on me. But they didn't call and check on me because I told them that I was good. I told them that everything was fine. I presented myself as somebody who had it all together. And that shuts you off from being able to receive from the people around you, whether it's advice or physical help or spiritual help or whatever it is. And so when you want to be vulnerable, you have to have a safe space to do that. Well, the way to create that safe space is to be able to receive from people just as much as you give to those people. Because if you can't, it's not going to feel safe to them or you. You're going to feel like the one that they're always pulling from, and they're going to feel like you know everything, so they don't have anything to offer you. And so think about how when you walk in the world, you're presenting an image like you're better than them, even though you're not trying to. It inadvertently does it, and you don't have weakness. And then you're sitting there wondering why no one will come check on you. I've done this so many times. And then I'm like, well, that's because you told them that you were good when you're actually not. And the third one is you are going to build resentment by always being the go-to. You're going to feel like people don't really know you. People don't really understand you. People don't really see you, but yet they know who to call when something's wrong. They see you when they need something, right? And so you become their go-to, and now your resentment is building, and now you're frustrated at these people, which continues the cyclical motion of not getting intimate with them, not sharing things with them, not creating a safe space with them, and then feeling like you're all by yourself. So in order to not build that resentment, you have to realize that shared dependency or interdependency is built when the strength of each other is valued. So I know that if I need prayer, I have go-to people that will immediately drop things and pray for me. I know that if I need relational advice, I have some warriors in that field that I can go to immediately, and they'll give me relational advice. I know that if my vanity in my bathroom breaks in half and I need somebody who knows what they're doing to help me fix it, that my dad will be here at the drop of a hat to do it. Those are the strengths of the people around me. I know that if my partner sees me struggling with anything, that he will drive here and come help me with whatever it is. And sometimes I have a really hard time letting those people in to do the things that I view as strengths in them, because then I think it creates a weakness in me. It doesn't, but it feels like it does. So inside of those spaces, you have to know who you are to those people too. Those same people know that if they call me and ask for advice, I'm there. If they call me and ask for an answer or how to respond to a situation, I got them. If they call me and ask me to give them an aerial view or perspective of the situation they're dealing with, I'm their girl. If they want to write a book and they need somebody to help them put their thoughts into buckets, got them. If they need somebody to be a sounding board, that's me. I know my strengths. And so because I know my strengths, there should be some interdependence inside of these relationships where I can let them depend on me for the certain things that they see as strengths in me, but that I also see the strengths in them and not only see them, but allow those strengths to be present in my life because I'm allowing those people to do the things that they're good at for me and I'm able to receive it. It is then and only then that the resentment will stop building because I'll feel like there's give and take and ebb and flow inside of that relationship. So if you're the strong one and you're feeling like, well, I don't need anyone, but then also you're feeling disconnected, you have to ask yourself, why don't I feel like I need anyone? And why am I lying to myself? Because everybody needs connection. Connection is biblical. So everybody needs connection. So why am I lying to myself and telling myself that I'm not needing it? And then you look at whatever that core wound is, whatever lie or narrative you've been telling yourself for so long, and you resolve to say, no, I don't need anyone, but I want to be connected, so I'm going to need the people around me more. And then if you wonder why everyone always needs you when you're starting to build the frustration around that, stop presenting yourself as the one who always has it together. I promise you they'll still come to you for advice, even if you just cried on their shoulder 2 weeks ago. They'll still come to you to ask for help with an aerial perspective of a situation, even if just a month ago you were struggling with having to figure out your own situation. They know your strengths and they want to be able to receive them, but they also want to give you their strengths. And if you're in relationship with those people, you are robbing them from the ability to be able to bless your life with the gifts that they have. So if you're sitting there thinking, wow, I really don't let the people in my life do anything for me, and they don't really have the ability to be there to support me, remember, be more human, share your weaknesses. If you're sitting there thinking, wow, I really do present myself as this in this aura of superiority because I think that I have it all together and that's what I'm showing other people, remember that all you have to do is be able to gain something from the people that you're in relationship with and for them to be able to gain something from you. That's where you create safety. And if you're sitting there wondering, why do I feel so resentful of all the people in my life? Remember that interdependency is a great thing. And that if you value the people in your life, then you should value the things that they're strong in and let them receive what they have for you. Because if you let them, they'll give you more of it. So if you are one of those people and you want to break free from being the strong one, I would encourage you today to really think about what your ability to be strong is doing for you, why you've deemed yourself and part of your identity as the strong one, and all of the negative things that are happening as a result of it. And I'm not saying you just become the lazy one who doesn't do anything. But I am saying that in those moments where you could give people around you the opportunity to help you, ask for help. See what happens to your relationships. See what happens to your feeling that the weight is all on your shoulders. If this message was helpful for you today, please feel free to like and subscribe to all of my pages and share this video because as I say all the time, knowledge gained and kept to yourself is selfish, but knowledge gained and shared with other people may just be the catalyst to break them free from the bondage that they're in. And this year, it's all about freedom. And I want not just you, not just me, but everybody who I come in contact with to feel a little more freer as they walk away to be able to live this life, the one life that they've been given, in the capacity at which they can, to the ability at which they can, without feeling bound to any of the things that they've been bound to in the past. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you again next time.